Welcome to QZenith video tutorials. Hi guys, hope you're doing great, and in this video we're going to discuss and see how we can archive and compress at the same time. Now, before in two previous videos I talked about archiving. Now, when we talk about archiving, it means that multiple files or folders are going to be kept in a single file. That means archived, or let's say kept as attached with one another, having the extension .tar. So that means archiving is done using a tool called tar. So that means keeping multiple files or folders in a stack format. But there's a cons in that, and that's it cannot reduce the size of the file. That's the problem. Then we discussed about compressing, and in compressing we talked about three different tools: GZip, ParrotOS, and then the third one, it was Zip. We use GZip for fast compression. We use GZip for better compression, and then we use Zip. It is used for cross platforms, such as it is usable in Linux machine as well as in Windows machine. So when we compress files, let's say I have got a file that is again file1.txt and its size is 1 GB. That means if I'm going to use GZip, it may again compress it around 200 MB, just giving you an example. And then if I'm going to use GZip, maybe it's going to compress more, maybe around 100 megabytes. And then when I'm again using GZip, it's again going to compress it equivalent to the GZip as 200 MB. Now, when we compress it with only GZip and GZip, it only compress single files. So what I mean by single files is that when we use tar, I can keep multiple files in a single file, but I cannot take 4 different files and compress it at a time in a single file. That couldn't be done using GZip or GZip, but Zip can do that. So that means tar can only archive the file, and then we have got GZip and then GZip, it only compress the files. But if we want both multiple files to be stacked and also be compressed at the same time, so at that time we use tar plus GZip or tar plus GZip, or we have got another tool which is again Zip. I never told you before, but I'm telling you now that if you use Zip, Zip archives as well as compresses at the same time. So that's the difference between archiving and then compressing. So when we use GZip and GZip, it only takes a single file and compress it to a single file. It cannot take multiple files at a time and then compress it. So we wanted to stack it with tar, okay, and then we have to use any kind of, let's say, compressing tool, either GZip or GZip, to compress that tar. So how we can do that, let me show you it over here in this Parrot operating system. I have switched back to my Parrot operating system. Just click on over here and I've got my mate terminal and ls-l to verify that I already have got file 1 and then file 2. Okay, seems to be fine. Now, if I wanted to take multiple files, that means stacking at the same time, compressing as well. So first of all, we're going to use tar plus GZip. So let's do it. I'm going to use tar again to archive, and we're going to use some switches, the options such as create, and then there is another option as Z. It's actually referring to GZip, and then F, it's going to be the file that is going to be created. So I would say GZip compressed or my tar gzip.tar.gz. Okay, that's the extension. Means my tar gz, that's going to be the file name. Tar, that's going to be taking multiple files to archive, and then .gz, it's going to be compressing that archive file. So I'm going to take file 1.txt and then file 2.txt and then hit enter. So it's going to take both of the files for archiving in a single file, and then it's also going to compress it with GZip. So this is the extension, or let's say this is the option for GZip. ls space minus lh and then hit enter. You can see that my tar gzip.tar.gz. So that's the archived as well as the compressed file. If you wanted to verify or view the contents, what contents are there within that specific file, you can always use tar space minus tzf followed by the name of the file, my tar gzip.tar.gz, and then hit enter. You can see that file 1 and file 2 are within that specific archived and compressed file. Now, if you wanted to extract, you can do that as well. So let me delete this file, file 1 and file 2. So I would say rm file 1, file 2, hit enter, ls space minus lh, and I don't have file 1 and file 2. Let us extract from this compressed and archived file. So I'm going to use tar space minus x for extraction, z for gzip, and f for the name of the file, my tar gzip.tar.gz, and then you're going to hit enter, and then ls space minus lh and hit enter. You have restored your file successfully, and you can see that while archiving and compressing using the tar and gzip, it compressed around 7.2 megabytes. That's the file size. So let me use tar plus bzip2. So it's better compression when we use bzip2. So tar space minus c, that is going to be create, and then j, this is the option for bzip2, and then f, the name of the file. So it's going to be my tar bzip2.tar.bz. Okay, 2. So again, I'm going to take these two files. It's going to be archived by tar, and then it's going to be compressed with bz2 or bzip2. So file 1, file 2, and then hit enter, and it's going to take some time because it is used for better compression and it has got another or different type of algorithm, so it takes a bit of time than GZip, and it has better compression results. ls space minus lh and then hit enter, and you can see that when we archive with tar using bzip2, it compressed it to 4.6 megabytes, whereas with GZip it only compressed till 7.2 M. Okay, seems to be fine. So now let us use Zip, a single tool that can archive as well as compress at the same time. So I would say Zip, and I can take multiple files or I can take the directory. So I'm going to take multiple files. So zip, and then the multiple files is going to be my zip.zip, and then file 1.txt, file 2.txt, and then hit enter. So we took file 1 and file 2 to be compressed as well as to be archived with a single tool called zip. So ls space minus lh to verify, hit enter, and you can see that my zip.zip, again, it compressed the file equivalent to the gzip. So this is how you can archive and compress at the same time using the combination of tar and gzip, tar and bzip2, and then zip. Hope it was informative for you. I will see you on my next video. Thank you for watching.